Okay, so we already drew a cube, and now we're going to move on and do the cylinder. So in the cube, we already talked about values and how each of those values translates into a different area on the highlighted figure. So this time we're going to be doing a cylinder. So the cylinder, again, has a top right front, so it's going to be around in here. It's going to come down. We're going to do the back, just a little bit of a ghost light back there. And then on the cylinder, your shading always goes vertically or with the parallel lines of the cylinder. So don't ever shade it like from the top down. You always want to do it from the sides towards the middle. All right, so we're going to start here by doing drawing the cylinder. So when you draw the cylinder, I give myself 2 dots. I want to make my cylinder look really neat, so I don't want to do just like a weird oval. So I'm going to give myself 2 dots. Make a curve, and then make an echoing curve, and then that creates the foreshortening of the cylinder. I'm going to go down 2 parallel lines that go straight down, and then at the bottom, the curve that's at the bottom here is going to echo the curve that's right there. So you need to make sure that that's the same curve, and that those contours of those curves are going to be what makes this look like a believable cylinder, because that's what we're doing here. We're creating some magic. All right, so in the back, just like I did on the cube, very, very light, holding my pencil lightly. I'm going to use this kneaded eraser here. Pull it apart, stretch it. You can form it into a point. I like to use the kneaded eraser for shading because it gets rid of a lot of those little marks. Sometimes people might use their fingers in there. Please don't do that. It makes it look very awful and greasy. So keep your fingers out of it as much as possible. Go back and forth between your eraser and your pencil, and that's going to create much better shading. There's also blending sticks that come with some drawing sets. Just be careful of those. Just make sure that use them sparingly. Don't over rely on using the blending sticks. You want to get to the point where your shading skills are done with your pencil and your eraser and not with that. And you can do it. So like I said, when I first start, my shading looks a little sloppy. It's pretty light because I build up layers. So I'm going to go through here. And that's about as dark as I want to go with the number 2 pencil. So now I'm going to switch to my 6B so I can get these very dark shadow core areas. And then as always, I'm going to clean up my edges because those clean edges are what makes it look very professional. So I'm going to use this better eraser. And while I'm drawing, I don't want to go too crazy with going over the edges, but sometimes it happens. So it's okay as long as you get it cleaned up. And there, I erased a little bit too much. So after you get that, I'm going to go back and do use my HB. Let me get rid of the texture that was created by the B pencil because the 6B pencil is very, very soft and it's going to leave a lot more texture. The harder pencils definitely have a lot more smoothness to them as you use them. I'm going to use my kneaded eraser now. Go back and add the highlights back in. took away a little bit too much. Let's fix that. All right, pretty good. And now I'm going to create my cast shadow. So the cast shadow for the cylinder is going to come out this way, and then it's going to curve around. Going to use my 6B, darken that in. Okay, and I think I'd go back and clean that up a little bit more, but let's get some shadow on there. But that is your basic cylinder.